Nope. Oh, I was dying out. Come on.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Going out in this beautiful snowy weather, which I actually do enjoy. It's very serene, it's very quiet, but it comes with its own challenges. Granted, you have snow. Snow means water. It's cold. That throws its own challenges in there too, but everything is usually going to be wet. So making a fire is going to be difficult, and since I'm still not using my ferro rod, let's see what I can come up with. Thinking about doing something I've never done before. Always risky, but it's worth giving a try. So why don't you join me on this bug out adventure? Get you across the highway. If you think about this, it could be a choke point, but which is better? Using this nice bridge and getting across this very open area? During a survival situation, might not be as much traffic, but people that might want to rob you could use this. Kind of makes me think of the troll under the bridge, so to speak. Pay the toll to get past. That toll might be food, gear, could be your life. Something to consider when approaching something like that, when you're on your way. This is gonna be home. No widowmakers nearby to follow me if storm blows in. Decent amount of wood laying about and also up high, so hopefully I can find some dry stuff. And, well, because I'm in a hammock, I don't have to worry about all these rocks and unlevel ground. Let's get set up. You might be asking yourself, Grimm, why are you setting up your shelter first? You always say, when it's cold, make a fire first, then build your shelter. Well, despite it being snowy, it's really not that cold. My fingers are warm, they're not in gloves. I'm not losing any tactile function in my fingertips. Plus, looking around, though there is some dry wood, making a fire might be a bit difficult. And in this particular situation, light is dipping low since it's in the winter, it gets dark faster. My shelter might be the warmest thing I have tonight, especially if I don't get a fire. So I'm gonna get to that now. Always adapt. Camp is set up. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it is getting dark, so I'm going to try and find some dry wood about here so I can get a little fire going. Temperature is dropping at the thermometer over there. I think last time I checked it was about 33. Let's find some wood. I was able to process some dead wood around here, and actually the center is dry, and I need very, very fine material to get my fire going. So I thought I would use this Everyday Blade by Corecraft because it's an X-Acto blade. It's razor sharp, so I'm able to really sliver some tiny, tiny little pieces here. I know it's probably very difficult for you to see with the camera and the lighting, but if you want to know what I think about the Everyday Blade by Corecraft, check out the link that's going to be popping up in the corner for the review of the Everyday Blade. Well, I hope you can see me because it is very, very dark and I've been trying to process the wood via headlamp, and all of a sudden, you see you clicking the button, it's not working anymore, and it was working, but not anymore, and I'm really hoping it's just a battery issue. Problem is, I made a mistake. I am bringing an extra Sierra 123 battery, but luckily, this particular model takes AA batteries. So I luckily have a spare, plus my other flashlight uses AA's. And, alright, good, we're in business. Well, just gonna shine this on myself. Lesson learned from me, double check even more than just once while I'm at home, and I'm really glad that I have equipment that is very versatile in their power sources, and keep that in mind when you're picking out your gear. Make sure it doesn't take just one battery, or if you decide to go with one battery, bring lots of extras. Well, hopefully you can see me because it is dark and cold because there is no fire. Now, I have been working on a lot of wood, processing it down, making kindling, finding dry wood, creating dry wood, so to speak, by carving into wet wood to see if there's any dry wood there, and making a lot of shavings for a nice tinder bundle. But it's not that I don't think I couldn't make a fire now, which I would greatly enjoy because everything's getting cold, but instead I wouldn't be able to show it to you because I don't have enough light to show you making the fire. So I'm taking this opportunity to create a scenario that I failed to make fire. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Luckily, I do have MRE or oatmeal that I can get some nice warm food in me, and that's always a good idea to have at least one of those in your kit, but I think I'm just gonna heat that up and sit in the dark. Yeah. All nice and snug in my hammock, and a little bit earlier than I normally am. And it goes without saying, with it being dark and having no fire, the only way to do stuff is to use precious battery power, and already I've had a battery issue, first time ever on a bug out, and I am not going to be wasting battery power willy-nilly. No. So, here I am. And hopefully, I can get a fire started tomorrow for you. Oh, and more importantly for me. It'd be nice to have a fire. Have some nice hot tea. It'd be pretty nice hot oatmeal. Well, good night. Day 2. Made it. I checked the thermometer. It got to a low of 30 degrees. It's about 31, 32 now. But time to move on with the day, because actually I think I see some flurries come down. Did a quick little recon around my camp, and I left one trail to get away from everything, and inadvertently set up camp near another trail. It's not too close, but it's a little too close for comfort. So instead of making a fire, I'm going to be breaking camp and relocating it. Going deeper into the bush while it's snowing. Our new home, and you can most definitely tell on camera that it is snowing. I even brought all of my wood because I put a lot of work into that, and I was not going to leave that back. Even though there's a good amount of wood around here, still, I worked on that. Also, something to note, when I woke up, I was cold, didn't feel like getting out of bed, let alone moving camp, but by doing so, I am nice and warm. Yep. So, let's get on with this day. And this is the beginning of my bearing block. You might ask, why a bearing block? Well, for this particular time, I'm deciding to do a friction fire instead of using my ferro rod. Now, full disclosure, I did buy a kit off of Amazon. Here's the bow, the hearthboard, and the spindle are in my pack, staying nice and dry and safe. But I didn't want to bring the bearing block. I wanted to make something out here. And since I'm not very versed in this, I wanted to give this kit a try, see how it does, as well as compare and contrast some wood around here as I get more versed in friction fires. Using the multi-tool on this one, all I really want to do is make a nice little divot in here for the spindle to rest into. Something probably like that. I forgot to mention that also part of the kit was a little bit of jute. And I will confess, I am actually having a difficult time finding tree bark in the areas that I go out to that, you know, you can scrape and shred. Not finding a lot of cedars. Now, if you can give me some pointers, greatly appreciate that. I'm going to continue to keep on going out there and scraping trees to find out, but given the fact that it is still very much snowing, I figured I would use this. Now, everything is wet, so I'm using this used up oatmeal as a little bit of a table, so I'm not getting this wet as I begin to process it. And that's the beginning of my tinder bundle. Got a little bit more here to process, but you get the idea. Once again, using this nice oatmeal as a platform because everything is very wet and I want to protect that little coal from getting wet. Feels good. There it goes. Okay. Nope. Do it again. While editing this footage for this episode, I noticed that I made mistakes while trying to make fire this way. The biggest of them all that in my excitement to try and blow the ember into flame, I allowed the hearthboard and the spindle to fall into the snow, and subsequently get wet. Also, even though I am underneath my rainfly, snow began to blow in from the sides, and I did not properly shelter my ember from the incoming snowflakes. So even if I did get an ember going, the snowflakes were going to put it out. Here we go again. This time, I roughed up the spindle tip to try and stop the squeaking. Running off of little or no food. Nope. Oh, I was dying out. Eating a almost frozen Cliff Bar. Been a couple hours attempting fire through the friction. I was really hoping for a nice cup of hot oatmeal. That's not happening. I just don't have any more energy. I want to eat this, see if that gives me enough energy. Maybe attempt one more time. And if I don't, I'm going to try and move over to a different technique, and if that doesn't work, well, I don't know. Ate the Cliff Bar, and I have to be honest with myself, I don't know I have the energy to really give it my all on the bow drill. Instead, I'm going to try a different technique. I've done this before similarly, but apparently you can use 2 AA's, which I am pulling out of my flashlight, so they are not fresh, and attempting to get a fire going with 2 AA's and some steel wool. Now the trick with doing with 2 AA's is that you gotta hold the AA's, or I guess tape would be even better. But I don't have any, so I'm gonna hold them. Now I'll pull this out. So maybe I'll pull it right there. Ooh. I see some spark. That worked. Ha 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 ha! Fire! Fire, 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 fire! Yes, 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 yes! Yes, 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 yes! Go, baby, go! Oh, baby, go! Success! Finally, some nice warm oatmeal. I think it's only like, I don't know, 1 o'clock. Fire's worth it though, and so is the warm food. A nice steamy hot beverage. And I will admit, before I had the fire, I was drinking, but I probably wasn't drinking enough, as much as I should. But now, with the fire, I can heat up some water and stay hydrated. Because I just recently went to the bathroom and the color was all wrong. But this has pretty much been my life for this bug out. Sitting right about here, occasionally going out, grabbing more firewood, just not because I'm low, it's just because it gives me something to do, plus stocking up for tonight when it's dark and I won't be able to. This is it. In the snow, staying warm. Almost forgot, because normally we do it on the first day, but being too dark to make a fire, or to do something else, I then realized while sitting here, keeping the fire going, it is conflicted card time. Let's pick one out here. That one seems good to me. And the conflicted card reads as such. In a modern day Jericho scenario, your religious leader has ordered you and the men of your congregation to go and ransack a nearby city for supplies. and kill every living being therein, including the old, women, and children. You prayed and fasted, but you are still on the fence and it's time to go. Would you join or not, and why? That's pretty interesting. Well, I don't think I would go. I have my religion. I am faithful to it, Christian. And when it came to Jericho, that was God telling those people to do that. God, not not some guy behind a pulpit or a bench or whatever, altar, what have you. And I would have to say, I mean, it says that I've prayed and I fasted, so, and I'm still on the fence. I wouldn't go. I'm sorry. This seems to me to be more like a priest, pastor, whomever is using their power to get people to do his dirty work. And I'm not going to be a part of that. But that is what I think, and I want to know what you think. So leave your comments down below, and if you like these conflicted cards, check them out. There'll be a link in the description. Food is heating up, and while it's doing that, it's warming up my hands and my thighs. And actually, one thing that I did last night, after I was done eating, I dumped the water out. I left the heating element in the bag, sealed it back up. Mind you, there still is a hole there, but I brought it into my hammock with me and I wrapped my feet around it to warm up my feet and also my bed a little bit. But if you want to know more ways of warming up your bed when it's really cold out there, check out the link that's going to be popping up the corner for warm bed tips. This is just one of them, and it definitely helps out a lot. Back in the hammock and nice and warm. It was very nice to get a fire going, no matter how I got it going. And actually, it was great to learn that 2 AA battery trick works with steel wool. And having that fire, being able to warm up the feet, dry out article of clothing that got wet from the snow, it was very nice. And with that fire, actually, I didn't have to go get water at all, because all I do is take my canteen cup, scoop off all the snow that accumulated on my rain fly off, and then boil it up. Boom, nice hot drink. Actually, I don't know if you can hear it. It's still snowing now. So it was a very, very sedentary bug out. But that's okay. Sometimes the weather locks you in and you gotta be prepared for that too. And with that, good night. Day 3. A lot of snow, but the sun's out. Problem is there's a bit of a wind, and that's always going to make things colder. But made it throughout the night. I had to actually come on out and bang the rain fly off a few times because of all the snow accumulation. Right now it's way up here, but it was almost down here with all the weight, and just took one of the soft sticks and batted all the snow off. Slept pretty well. But now it's time to get up and really probably just clean up camp. Not really much I want to do or try out, and just get out of this winter wonderland. First gotta get out of the nice warm bed first. Status update. Got out of bed, put my boots on. They were frozen to the ground. And began cleaning everything up, which, not surprisingly, everything was frozen. So I had to bang a lot of the ice and snow off of it and stick it out in the sun, which luckily I do have. So I'm letting the sun sort of defrost my rain fly and things, and while I wait, I'm snuggling up in my top quilt, which luckily can be converted into a blanket. So it's gonna be go out, pack up until the fingers are numb, warm them back up with got one of these nice little hand warmers. Highly suggest these. I think this is one that goes for like 18 hours or so. Warm the fingers back up, do it again, rinse and repeat. I should probably see if I have another frozen Cliff Bar in the bag while I'm sitting here. And as always, left no trace. Nothing but footprints in this case. Making my way out of this lovely bush. It's actually pretty cool to just see my footprints behind me. And definitely snowed quite a lot. Actually, it's fun to see some other critters' footprints as well. Let's go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this bug out adventure. I did, despite all the trials and tribulations, but that's why we do this, to practice, to see how it feels. I hope I was able to show you the importance of having a backup, whether that be a battery for your headlamp or flashlight, or another way of making fire. I hope I was able to show you a couple of tricks that you can use to make yourself warm during a cold bug out. And I didn't mean for it to happen, but the snow shut me down. And also, that is also part of bugging out and how that happens when you have to be a little bit more sedentary. But with that, we will see you next time.